Hey Stepmamas, it's Terry Vanover and I am a relationship strategist and I help you create a healthy, happy step family and keep your sanity, right? Let go of the resentment, let go of the toxic emotions that can poison a family. So I'm very passionate about what I do because as a stepmom myself, I understand how stressful being in a second marriage can be, right? And I'm divorced and I have children with my ex, and my current partner has children with his ex. And so it can be a really, really stressful, overwhelming time, right? So, marriages bring their own complicated issues as they are. And then you throw in high conflict exes and stepkids and other stresses and all these complications. And, the thing is, the chance of a second marriage ending in divorce is if you have kids, is now 70%. That statistic still blows my mind. That's a recent statistic. While the first marriage divorce rate has actually gone down in very recent times, the second marriage divorce rate has increased. But as a stepmama, I kind of understand why. There was a time where I wanted to leave my husband. I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do this anymore. So I'm going to share with you what to do when the times get tough, right? When the marriage is struggling, the stepkids are at their worst, your kids are at their worst, whatever it is, y'all. I want to share with you what to do when you're ready to give up, when you're ready to throw in the towel. So the first thing that I preach to mamas, and they don't do it, is self-care, self-care, self-care. So mamas, you got to do it, right? If you don't fill your cup and you don't nurture yourself, how are you going to take care of anybody else? Come on now. You have to put your self-care as the priority, right? Remind me one day to share the story of my story where I got lost and no one came looking for me. That's for another day. But it just goes to show, I have 5 kids between me and my husband, and I go to the gym every damn day. And everyone's like, oh my God, how do you do it? I'm like, because I make it a priority, and it's a non-negotiable. My health is a non-negotiable, and everybody in my family knows it, and we schedule events around it. And my stuff is just as important as my kids' stuff and my husband's stuff. Men don't have a problem scheduling their basketball games and their softball games, and they're hanging out with their buddies and stuff. They don't have a problem. They don't feel guilty about that, right? They'll say, see ya, I'm going to go have fun. We don't need to feel guilty about that either. There's no reason, mamas, you need to feel guilty about that. Not at all, okay? Because without you, the house would burn down. So that's how you need to say that, right? That's how you need to replace that. Okay. So work out, meditate, go take your walk, go get your nails done, do what your self-care practices, do whatever feeds your soul, okay? And don't feel guilty about it. So practice gratitude. This does sound cliche. Even when I hear it, I'm like what the hell? But I do it, y'all. And I actually do it for my business. So in my business journal, every single day, my business coach gave me this great little exercise to do, and I love it. And it helps me reflect. I do it in the morning, and then I reflect at night. And it's really amazing, powerful tool that she gave me. So if you want it, let me know. But anyway, so it's where you, first thing is, what are the 3 things that you are grateful for? And man, I tell you, it has really opened my eyes, especially with my kids, the little miracles. I'm like, oh, Chloe hugged me today. And I know that doesn't seem like a big deal to y'all, but it is to me. And because she's not an affectionate child. And I think she saw my journal or something, or I told her, you know what my miracle is? It's you. And she's almost 13, so she's really crappy because she's, a preteen. And so she's like, ah. And then, but now here's the thing, y'all. She comes over and she hugs me and goes, here's your miracle, mommy. And I'm like, oh, I'll take it. And the amazing thing is when you practice gratitude, and when you start looking for those small miracles, they start appearing. Just like with my daughter, like they start happening more frequently. I noticed how my son I was like, man, he's really like something I'm grateful, and because it makes you sit down and reflect, because you get tired. For me, I got tired of writing the same things over and over, so I was like, okay, let me just really seriously think, like, what am I? Okay. And Dex was doing these things. I was like, wow, I'm really proud of Dex. He's really stepped that up. And it was really amazing, because like I did it again today. I was like, oh, look at him. He's like being so responsible. And yesterday, you know, so when you start looking for those miracles, they start appearing everywhere, and it starts reoccurring. And I think it's this energetic momentum you've created, because I noticed it, acknowledged it, shared it with my son. I think energetically he starts doing more of it. So I really want you to practice those gratitude. So when it comes to your husband, right, start looking for those miracles with your husband, because I think men in particular, we tend to, okay, maybe it's just me, mamas, I'm the only one that does this, like we tend to look at their flaws and look at what they're not doing. But you know, this morning when I was at the gym, I just recalled, I was like, oh my God, he would do anything. That place of love, his heart is so big. And so that's the other thing. Not only am I grateful for what he does do, but I want you to go back to that space of, go back to that vision of why you married your spouse in the first place. What is it about him that attracted you? Because sometimes I think we lose the trees for the forest, or is it the forest for the trees? Sometimes I think we lose the big picture, right? Because we get so caught up in the flaws and the minutia and the shit that they're not doing or whatever, that we kind of lose like the big reason of like why we were attracted to them in the first place. Like he would do anything. He would lay down his life for my mother, like, you know, kind of that big stuff, and honoring that and getting to that big vision of that. Because I think sometimes we lose the big vision of our marriage and lose the big vision of ourselves in the or each other in our relationships. And celebrate your wins, y'all. Acknowledge those little things that you're doing, right? When you are times are tough, acknowledge yourself. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. I didn't yell at the kids. I kept my cool just now. That's a good thing. So like, and acknowledge that and celebrate that and be like, hey, you know, we handled that discussion really well. We didn't fight. We didn't get into the negativity. So celebrate and acknowledge those wins, because that is really, really important. And get the right support when times are tough. Here's the thing, y'all. Marriages go, I think, 6 years before people will get help. And that is really, really super sad. And by the time many couples get the help that they need, their marriage is already destroyed. And the resentment is so built up that the marriage can't be repaired. So if you're struggling, get the support right away, because you can shift those negative relationship patterns. You can shift the patterns that are going on with you and those stepkids, right? You can change that, and the earlier the better, right? So that so many people wait to get the support that they need rather than investing in their marriage and investing the time and the energy to change that, and then be able to look back and go, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I did that, because it changed everything for us in our relationship. And so it's important that you get the right support, like, because being in a blended family or step family, however you want to term that, has so many additional stressors and additional, you know, factors involved that people really don't understand. And, you know, I know y'all stepmamas will understand this, right? How many times do you say something about your stepkid, and people who don't have stepchildren just say, oh, just love them like your own, or they don't understand the dynamics. They don't understand really what the complex resentment, the complex feelings that are involved. And so it's important that you get the right support through this. So it doesn't have to be me, but find the right relationship strategist who understands the dynamics of a step family and can help support you through this and give you the right tools and resources so that you can take accountability for how you're showing up in this relationship and change it. Because believe me, I'm so glad, right? I told you at the beginning that at one point I wanted to walk away from my marriage. I was going to be one of those statistics of the 70%. But I'm so glad that I learned the tools and the resources and the strategies that I could empower myself with, that I could use in my family, so that I didn't have to feel overwhelmed, didn't have to feel stressed, unappreciated, resentful. I was so resentful against my husband and my stepchildren, right? So I'm so grateful that I learned how to get away from that and to heal that, so that I didn't bring that in, and I can look back and say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't walk away from this man that I love, love, love with all my heart. Like I was telling you earlier, I just look at him and I see the big picture, and I really understand how he's the heart in our relationship. And so I want you to be able to look back and say, I did everything that I could and I showed up as my best self. So it's important that you get the right support through this, because being a stepmother is not easy, and you need to know the right tools, the resources, and someone that understands how to get you through this time, so you can build a better relationship with yourself, with your husband, and with your stepkids. So listen, if you're overwhelmed, if you are stressed out, if you're full of resentment, and you're maybe even thinking about walking away, you really need to reach out for help. I offer complimentary phone calls, and I can share with you what you need to do so that you can create a happy, healthy step family. Okay? So reach out to me right here on Facebook. I'm here all the time. Or you can email me at terrievanover@comcast.net, and I'd love to talk with you and help you through this. Okay. All right. I will talk to you next week. Bye, stepmamas. See you later.